What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound. And I do have a new song coming out very soon on August 15th called Tides. So check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I don't want to get people too excited here, but I do want to discuss potential alt season and what that could mean regarding what the adjusted market cap for SPS is. So that's a very specific way of filtering what this video is going to be looking at, but I just want to capture in a lot of the sentiment that's there right now. So let's go ahead and start there. So much chatter around a potential alt season finally starting up after almost 4 years is based around the fact that Ethereum is now over 4,000. You can see 42.75 as of today, and is up during a time when Bitcoin is being boring, right? We're in the like 115 to 120 range, and we've just kind of been floating around there for a little while. Again, not too far from all-time highs for Bitcoin, but if you remember what previous alt season, previous cycles were like, this is exactly what would happen. Bitcoin would pump, things would get a little bit boring for Bitcoin, so rotations would start into alts, beginning with Ethereum and then filtering down into the rest. So Ethereum has still not crossed its all-time high, which I think would be a signal. Again, this is not technical analysis. I'm not trying to say any technical parameters here, but obviously if it were to cross an all-time high, that would get people pretty excited. I believe it's like 4,900 or around the 4,900 range. So it's got a ways to go. But it is interesting to see it moving now, and a lot of the other altcoins moving during a time that Bitcoin is just staying stagnant. I don't know if alt season is being forced or pushed upon this market. People are just totally tired and ready. They just want alt season to happen, so they're just going to try and make it happen. Or if this is a natural, organic way that things are actually happening, right? People think Bitcoin might be a little bit boring for now, so they're going to rotate into alts, and then, we see the cycle go back to rotate back into Bitcoin and alts until things get way too frothy and everything crashes for an 80%, if that happens. I have no idea. I'm just saying, based on previous cycles, that's what we have seen. 80% for Bitcoin, 99% for most altcoins, if they don't end up dying. So, with that being said, I wanted to take a look at the SPS market cap, and more so look at what the adjusted market cap should be. So what do I mean by that? All right, so let's take a look here at the distribution data, right? It says SPS data, the market cap is about 20.5 million as of today, and I'm recording this on August 9th. And that is based on the fully diluted supply, because the supply is fully diluted. There's not going to be any more tokens minted. There were some proposals earlier this year or even last year that essentially we minted all the tokens and they're just sitting in the DAO, right? But you can see that 2.7 billion supply out of the total 3 billion, right? The difference of that is what has been burned down here. And what we currently have circulating is this amount, 1.48, we'll just say 1.5 billion. So that is what is currently allocated for whatever the case is. Not released from the DAO yet, right? There's a lot of reward pools and things like that. So there's still like 1.2 billion that we haven't decided what to do yet, or it's for previous rewards or upcoming rewards. But 1.5 billion is what we are currently looking at. And if you take a look at this, right, there's about 1 billion that is staked. So I want to take a look at this in two ways, right? First of all, we can take a look at the 1.5 billion. Again, these are just rough numbers here, but 1.5 billion multiplied by the current price of SPS, 0.0074. I have this on another screen, so sorry I won't be showing it, but it's around 11 million, okay? It's around 11 million. And so the fact that like the market cap is that tiny for the circulating amount, right? Keep in mind the fully diluted value is what we're actually looking at, but we can look at the circulating amount as something that's a little bit more concrete, because unless we decide or vote to do something with that SPS, it's just going to be sitting in the DAO, or it's going to be coming out and distributing from the reward pools as per whatever the schedule was, and that'll be happening over the next couple months and years. But 1.5 billion is a decent amount, and we've cut inflation or dilution down quite a bit, right? We just turned the LP rewards off, for example. What's interesting with that is that you could even take it a step further a step further and take a look at what is currently circulating but is liquid, meaning it's not staked. It could be sitting in reward pools, it could be sitting in player accounts, it could be sitting in maybe team accounts, whatever, but it's not staked, but it's currently considered circulating. And you can see that's about, 500, we'll just call it like 500 million, right? So 1/3 of that, or roughly 3.5, 3.6 million is what I have here. So this is actually kind of a micro cap in terms of a micro market cap, right? Which is kind of wild to think about the potential upside. Now, none of this is financial advice. Before I even go any further with this, none of this financial advice. I'm not saying to buy SPS. I'm not saying it's going to go up like crazy. I'm not even saying it's going to go up. It could go down, right? We've always seen it go down for the last 4 years. But for those of you out there who are optimistic, and if we just want to hypothetically consider that maybe alt season is in, right, and there could be players coming in and checking out the game in mass, even though we know that there's players coming in and checking out the game regardless. The team is doing some marketing and has really done a great job of creating a better onboarding experience. But if you get that kind of, we'll call it dumb money, right? That dumb money that's just looking to be thrown somewhere for quick gains, and it could be a lot of volume in a small amount of time, right? And this is why I'm focusing on the circulating but unstaked amount, because yeah, sure, we could unstake that, but we'd only get 1/4 of it per week. And if everybody unstaked their SPS, it would still only be 250 million per week. A lot can happen. Like these alt seasons, they spike up. It's crazy for like a couple of days and then things cool off, right? It's crazy for a couple of days and things cool off. So when I think about the fact that there's like, the market cap, the micro cap of this is really like under 4 million. If at any point one of these games pops off, including Splinterlands, right? And people are looking for other tokens, other games. They come in, they see Splinterlands, they see all the work that's been done. It's been around for 7 years, and they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna buy $100 worth of SPS. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but $100 worth of SPS multiplied by however many degen traders there are out there, that's when things could start to get a little interesting. In the fact that there's not a lot of liquidity, or a lot of liquid supply of SPS, I should say, makes things interesting. So again, I'm not saying that this is going to spike up. I'm not saying that it's going to go to the moon, or none of that, right? None of this financial advice. Again, my thought process is the best way for this game to move forward is for cool features to come out, players to spend money in the game, utilize the ecosystem, burn DEC everywhere, have the team buy DEC or SPS off the marketplace and burn it for DEC, and just have that slow and steady grind with less SPS in the ecosystem and more people wanting it over time. That's great from a slow and steady perspective. But we know how crypto works in these boom-bust cycles. We've even seen it within our own community, the last 2 releases with Rebellion and Conclave Arcana. So outside of that, if we are getting, and just to bring it back to the beginning here, if we are getting this potential alt season, and there is a potential, and again, I only say potential, hypothetical, whatever you want to call it, not financial advice, if there is that potential for people to come into the game in mass and check it out in the same way that they did in 2021, I mean, that market cap is tiny. I mean, even the fully diluted market cap at 20 million is going to entice some people just because they're like, oh, it's 20 million now. It hit 200 million in 2021. And so therefore, like, people will look at that as a 10x, right? Again, I'm just talking about from the degen mindset. I'm not saying that it's actually going to 10x. I'm just simply saying, like, people who are looking at this and saying, hey, here's a game that's stuck around. It's still building. There's still a solid community. If there are people that will be throwing money at this stuff, especially if we can get onto chains like Base, where there is a lot of capital, or Solana in the future, where there is a lot of capital, that could make things really, really interesting. So just want to share that with you, a little bullish kind of sentiment for today, given the fact that we're seeing alt pump. So that is all I have. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.